Welcome to Rope Dropping Knowledge, where we guide you through the magic of Disney.
$193.
Getting closer.
I know. It's next month. Yeah, because 7 more weeks. So Friday, long week. Well, for me, for you, it's just fun. For you just had a fun week.
Still seems long.
When you take days off and you come back in the middle of the week and you don't take a whole week off, it's that week seems long. Even if you only have one day to work.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna
only
seem
had
like
2 days
forever.
to work, and I was like, oh, it's only 2 days, but it seems like forever.
I always advise people, and this is HR, and I'm not supposed to do that, but I tell people, like, book in your weekends. Book in your vacations with a day off before, a day off after, and if you can, take entire weeks off. Like, don't come back.
Well, I figured I'd come back the last 2 days so that I can catch up, and then
There's never,
Monday is
ever
when I hit
catching
the
up.
ground running.
Statistics say that that's dumb because that just stresses you out. You just wasted your vacation.
No, I caught up.
I mean, you could technically catch up, but it's not going to make it takes away from any mental health relief you got over your thing, because it's like
Well, I took Wednesday off.
it's like chewing half of a hot dog. It's like, well, now I gotta.
I took Wednesday off. I wasn't gonna. I'm glad I did. So Wednesday was my bookend.
Yeah.
And then I figured today nobody's going to work because it's Good Friday. And Thursday is the day before their vacation of Good Friday. So I did have 2 quiet days to catch up.
If you don't have a lot of PTO, I always recommend it, like taking days off. Well, I mean, sometimes you can't control it. Depends on what your activity is and where you're going. But it's actually, they say that it's healthier to take, if you only had like a day or 2 off. If you only had 2 days off, I'd say take a Friday and a Monday off. If you only have like 2 days to take off. If you can't take the Monday off, it's better to take, and you only could take Monday, Tuesday off, or Thursday, Friday off. Take Thursday, Friday off, because that way you want the horizon. All righty. So we have our giveaway for April, which is live, which is a Loungefly Princess Silhouette backpack. But then you said you saw it at the park and people wearing it crossbody.
Not people, one lady.
Oh.
I was going to, run after her and take a picture, but I didn't want to be all creepy, like, oh, I didn't take a picture of you, random. But yes, but I saw that because the straps for the backpack are adjustable. Like, you can take them out. They have, like,
the
clips.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what she did, is she just clipped it in a way that it's like a crossbody.
Oh.
So that's cool.
Yeah. So you crossbody
Interchangeable.
or a backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And I forgot when this ends. I could have.
I think it was April 29th.
Yeah, because I think that's the last Saturday in April. So April 29th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And all you have to do is direct message us the answer to this question. If you could create a new Disney princess, where would she be from? So would you want like an African princess, or you can even be more specific, like a country, or it could be a fictional place, because there's some Disney movies that don't have princesses. So if you want a princess from San Francisco, yeah, that could be cool. Or it might be a princess from your hometown. If you're from Wichita, that could be a princess from Wichita. Or maybe there's a country that hasn't been represented in the Disney universe yet. That's fine too. No real wrong answers. So, or it could be a prince. It doesn't have to be a princess. All right. So, direct message us that to Facebook, Instagram, or info@ropedroppingknowledge.com. For every medium you use, you get an additional entry, so you can get a maximum of 3. It must be 18 years or older and live in the United States. So, you took a semi-solo trip. to
Yep.
Disney,
Yep.
to Disneyland parks.
Mhm.
So, what'd you do?
Well, I went to Disneyland first. Well, I went to DCA first. Met with Carrie for lunch, and then went on my own to Disneyland. And the first thing I did, what did I do? Oh, yeah, the first thing I did was, oh wait, we'll back up. When I didn't know if I could use my magic key because you had bought me a single day ticket to go because
Mhm.
we're blocked that day. So what I did was I didn't know if I could use my Believe key discounts. But when I parked at Mickey and Friends, I was like, when you're at the booth and then you know how I do that long-winded thing like, oh, I have a Believe key, but I'm not here for that.
Oh, that bugs me so much. Just show
I had
them
to tell the whole
ticket.
life story. And then she's like, oh, no, yeah, I could use it. She actually said her supervisor just told her this morning that magic key holders who are blocked can still use all their discounts now. When they say now, they mean like when it first, this was the first or last December was the first time ever that for 2 weeks, every single magic key holder is blocked. So they did this whole like
Shut down.
shutdown. So
Yeah.
that's why it couldn't work. But now that it's some are not, some are blocked, it's kind of hard for them to like decipher that, I guess, or code it. I don't know. So now it's like you can just use it. So
And
I
here's
don't
the
know.
thing. I'm wondering if they're just being smart and efficient, or I'm wondering if it was just a convenience thing.
Yeah,
Because
I
to
don't know.
me, it's smart because it technically could be another lawsuit.
Right.
And the reason I'm saying that is that it says you have the discount. Now, some people will be like, well, why would you care if you can't get into the parks? No, I can't get a park reservation. Those discounts would still apply at downtown Disney.
all
I
Disney
could
property.
go to downtown Disney any day I want.
Or if you're Inspire key holder and you get free parking, why can't you just go to downtown Disney and park at Mickey and Friends for
Yeah.
free parking? Why do you have to pay the $10 at downtown Disney and spend $25 to get
Exactly.
free parking?
And the thing is and what I mean by a legal thing is I don't think they made that distinction
Yeah, in the
the fine
terms.
print.
Yeah.
Right? It just says you get free parking.
Yeah.
Believe Key gets 50% off parking.
Yeah.
And you get dining and merch discounts.
Yeah.
It doesn't say you only get these things
On the day that you're
with
not
a
blocked.
reservation.
Or on a day you're not blocked.
Well,
or
no,
something.
with a reservation. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah, because if they were smart, well, not smart, but if they wanted to make that distinction, it would say
Oh, then
only
maybe.
valid with reservation.
Yeah.
But they didn't say that, and But I think it actually benefits them because if somebody wants to come to downtown Disney and hang out, even if they can't get into the parks,
Mm-hmm.
that's revenue for them without
Yeah.
them taking up real estate, standing in line, and making all your favorables
Yeah.
unhappy.
So, anyways, I got the discount parking. I parked, walked in. I took the tram.
I say
So-
favorables, unfavorables. Favorables, unhappy.
Yes. So I took the tram because I wanted to save my walking for the parks instead of walking through downtown Disney. And then, after lunch, I went to Disneyland and I went to Toontown.
Mhm.
I figured, I'll just check out Toontown. So without you there, I feel like I can get into the nooks and corners of the
Some
crowd.
too big.
Yeah, or you feel like claustrophobic or something. So I was like, if I'm by myself, I'll just try to squeeze into whatever corner, whatever crowd or whatever. So instead of but I went to town and I saw that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway said only 40 minutes. And the last time it said that, I went with my family and it only took a few minutes. So I wasn't sure if it was
Well,
short.
it took like 20 minutes. You said.
Yeah, 20. But I wasn't sure if it was really 20 or if I was with family and I was just jabbering and talking and the time just went by fast. So I'm like, well, if I'm alone, I'm just going to go. So I went and I took, more videos of the queue that we missed when you're in Lightning Lane. And I posted some of that up. And I timed it and it was only 12 minutes, even though it says 40. So if you're through that door,
Yeah.
if you're indoor, it's not really 40 minutes. It's like maybe the most 20.
Yeah, as long as the ride is operating the
Yeah.
way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Only took me 12 minutes. And I got to sit in the front, like front, in front of Goofy this time. So that was cool too.
Until he leaves you.
Yeah, until he leaves, till the train runs away. And then, so after that, I went to Daisy's Cafe because I looked at my mobile. Well, I sat at Daisy's Cafe because there were seats. And I was like, let me just order some donuts then because that's what I wanted to try because I didn't want real food because I just ate. So I ordered those mini donuts and they were really good. I mobile ordered that. And then I found a little space where City Hall is. And you go up the stairs. It's kind of like that secret place in Tiki that it's like up the stairs and then there's some tables.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
But it's kind of like hard to see.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's how City Hall is. That those chairs at City Hall, you go up the stairs and then there's more chairs. So you get like a higher view of the rest of Toontown. So I sat there and I ate my donuts.
That's a secret spot.
Yeah.
Did you take pictures from there?
I took a video.
Oh, okay, cool.
But then next time maybe you can take it from down because
Oh,
I
the
was
ceiling.
sitting there and I was taking
Yeah.
it, so I needed someone to take it from
Street level.
Yeah. And then afterwards, I had planned on riding Single Riders Matterhorn, but that's what I was gonna do that, but it was temporarily closed. So I just kept walking and went to Toontown. So then I went back to see what's going on. And it was open again, but the single rider line was like super long. So I was like, never mind. I don't want to stand in the sun because it's out in the sun on the side where the exit is, the single rider line.
Yeah.
So, and then I was like, well, I want to take a nap. So I went on Haunted Mansion. I was like, that's the best place to take a nap. So I went on Haunted Mansion and the line said again.
There's going to be so many people like, you took a nap
I know.
on my favorite ride.
Well, it's dark. Well, that and Little Mermaid are good rides to take a nap. But Haunted Mansion, I think, is better because it's dark. Because you can rest your head against the dune buggy. So
if you're riding solo, especially.
yeah, so you can rest your head there. Because Pirates is a good nap place, but you can't rest your head anywhere.
Yeah, you just
So-
got to slump forward.
Yeah. I was going to go on Pirates, but long line. So Haunted Mansion said 35 minutes, but it was only 15 minutes, 14 minutes.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, I think it's because it moves along. But then it broke down, like it paused while I was on the ride. So I was like, oh, good, nap time again, longer nap. So, yeah, it probably stopped for like 10, 15 minutes. So I was just napping. The only thing is, you know how they kept having that song over and over and stuff. So, yeah. So that was fun.
It's easier to take a nap during the regular season because during the Christmas layup, what do you call it?
Oh, yeah, the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, what do they call it? A layout, not a layout.
Overlay or
Overlay,
something?
yeah. That la 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 la.
Yeah,
la, la. It's
yeah.
harder to like relax.
Yeah.
That'll just make you nuts if you're sitting too long. So.
Well, I was at the place where it stopped for me was in the beginning where they had those tombs.
yeah.
So you keep hearing, let me out, let me out, let me out. So I was
It's
like,
kinda creepy.
whatever. Yeah, then I went over to Pooh's Corner, see if there's any snacks, but there wasn't anything. So I saw those hand soaps that are now down to $8. I took a picture of that.
The ones we were hustling.
Yeah, it was like $9. We're
Look
like,
at
oh,
this.
what a deal! Like $9.99.
Well, no, I mean
we
we got them just for gifts and giveaways.
Yeah,
And we didn't know that they were a thing.
right. Yeah,
And then I remember, and this was like what? This was years ago.
years ago. Yeah,
And then you just grabbed a bunch of them.
this
and,
was
and
before
walked them.
Magic Keys were on sale.
Yeah, and then you bought them up, and then the lady saw you grabbing them, and then she started grabbing.
Yeah, she's like, whoa, what am I missing?
And then they
Yeah.
went up to $20.
Then they went up for $20. Yeah,
Yeah, because of demand.
because Disney Food Blog was giving them away as giveaways since they were like selling out. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna buy some then. And then it went up to 20, and then now it's back to 8 because nobody's buying them. Or they have like different designs now, like the Disney 100 cover or whatever.
Mm.
But yeah, and then
I wonder if like, and this will have to do with kind of stuff that we might be doing later. So I'm not gonna say too much, but like how they keep coming out with new 100 merch.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean they're not selling the previous merch, or
Or
is
they
it,
just discontinue. Like they sell out and
yeah?
they don't make more. Like that sweater hoodie jersey, zip up hoodie.
Yeah, that's gone then.
That's gone, completely gone. I mean, maybe on eBay you can find it, but
Interesting.
yeah, they don't restock it.
So that and I'm just wondering because it seems like they've gone in phases. They're like already in like phase 3 of like
Yeah, of ears and stuff,
of
right?
ears and backpacks and whatever. And I'm just wondering if people who are the collectors, they get all wild. Like, should they have just bought those melted platinum? You remember the ones that first
Yeah.
came out?
Oh, are they still there then?
No, they're gone. And so I'm just wondering if those are going to be like just sought after items on like eBay or something,
Oh.
because yeah.
Hmm.
We'll see. Because I didn't really do that with the 50th stuff. The 50th stuff just kind of stayed the same all year, I think.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
what
I
else?
don't remember what I did after Haunted Mansion. Oh, I walked to Galaxy's Edge to refill my water bottle, and I saw Kylo Ren walk by when I turned around. It's like, ah.
Everything scares you.
Well, it was just like, ah, with the 2 stormtroopers next to him. And then I went to eat that dish that I'll talk about another day. I was going to talk about it today. But since it's Good Friday, I figured I'd talk about seafood instead of meat. So,
Okay.
I don't know. I just want to be, sensitive, inclusive, whatever. So, yeah, after I ate, I just walked around. I went to DCA and walked around. I still didn't use my 1 tab that was left because I was full. I guess when you're not there, I eat
Yeah, that's
whatever
all-
I want, whenever. And so then at the end of the night, I felt so sick. I almost threw up when I got home
Yeah. That's the only thing that's different. Is
because
that you just
nobody's
keep eating.
stopping me from eating whatever.
I don't stop you either. You can
No,
eat whatever you want.
because you're not eating, and I don't want to just eat when you're not. You're just
So
sitting there.
basically what you're saying is you're just vain. You don't want to be with someone else and look like you're eating all the food.
Or eating alone. Nobody likes to eat alone.
Well, you ate alone when you went by yourself. You're
But there was
definitely-
nobody else there, so I had to eat
You don't
alone.
want to look like you're with somebody and eating.
Yeah, and
all
they're
the-
not eating.
Right. Yeah, that's just a vanity thing for you.
No, it's
It's an appearance thing.
not an appearance thing. It's just, if you're a party pooper. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
wanna-
not. I would because I don't stop you from eating when you're with me. It has nothing to do with me. Stop putting your insecurities on me. You can eat whatever you want when I'm with you. You can eat whatever you want when you're not with you.
Well, I do anyways. I ate the whole pretzel
And
by
the only
myself.
thing that benefited you is you got sick. That's what you're telling me.
I thought you were going to say I got sick because I ate something with avocado in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that past
Well, okay, I was going to go to the avocado booth to eat the stuff there since you weren't there, but I looked at the menu and it's all Impossible meat. I was like, well, you don't eat avocado? I don't eat stuff that's not meat. You know what I mean? I feel like I wasted a meal because there's no meat in there.
I think it's just impossible to eat avocado.
There's like vegetarian nachos and stuff. It's like, no thanks. So I didn't eat at the avocado booth.
Well.
And then at night, I met up with Carrie. Yay! I told her she needs to have the RDK experience. So she sat at Sonoma Terrace, had a brother Thelonious, and a queso burrito
Wow.
tacos. So she got the full RDK
Oh, because she already
experience.
had like the hot link corn dog earlier in her.
Oh
trip.
yeah. So she did have the
That's our
full
number
RDK
one thing.
experience.
And then, yeah.
But it was so weird being at Sonoma Terrace and it was empty because usually when we go, it's on a Saturday,
Mhm.
and we're always like, "Oh, let's go save a seat there." But on a Tuesday night, it was like empty.
Mm.
So we got kind of the whole place to ourselves. And then we went over and met up with Sonny because he said he was at Grizzly River Run. So we went to say hi. He was working, so we just said hi really quick and took a quick picture and left. So that was cool. We're like, oh, we'll come say hi, but we won't ride because
Yeah.
it's too cold.
Yeah.
So, and we got to watch Wondrous Journey, even though it was kind of windy, so they canceled the fireworks show. But they really, literally don't tell you until the minute before the show starts. They're like,
Yeah.
the show will continue, but no pyrotechnics or something. But the show was still good. I think if it wasn't for the wind and there were fireworks, they would have Baymax like
Yeah.
across,
Mm-hmm.
fly across.
Yeah, and then the reason they probably put it off is because they want to do the fireworks. It's just that they're
The
looking
wind.
for the last, the okay.
Yeah,
And if
yeah, they
don't get
want
the
to.
Okay, then
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they have an announcement 10 minutes before, and then 5 minutes before, they say kind of like there's a chance that there won't be fireworks. Yeah, so I had a fun day by myself. And then Carrie and I just hung out, sat on a bench in front of the castle and chatted. That's like the best thing to do. Is we weren't pressured into going on any rides or anything, because then we wouldn't be able to catch up. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes that's what I like to do. I like to go there and chill. And you're just
Yeah.
like, no. I want
yeah,
you to
I chill with you all the time at Sonoma Terrace.
Oh, Sonoma Terrace.
I know, I miss it. Let's go.
We're going next week, right?
I know. No, but we're going with family again.
We're meeting family there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure like Tony's gonna chill with me there for a little bit.
Well, not if they're single day ticket holders. He's probably gonna maximize. I don't know. You should take him on rides. He doesn't get. He
No, I'm
only
talking about at
chills-
night.
Yeah, at night. During the
Yeah.
day, he probably. But still, he should go on rides.
People get tired.
Maybe we should just buy a Genie Plus for him and Mia, and then if Patricia wants to switch, they could.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, did you? I'm still laughing at the birthday video they sent you.
Oh, I showed it to Carrie and she laughed too. Like, oh, my birthday passed and I had cupcakes.
Oh,
She's so funny.
Emmy. Well, it's the funny part was it was for you, and then Mia's birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
And so they're doing a happy birthday to you, and then it's like, who are we gonna celebrate? It's like Auntie Tracy, and then who else? And then Mia's like mine, and then Emmy's just like, and my birthday already passed, and I got a cupcake. And then Patricia's just like, okay, yeah. It's
Yeah, she's like, okay, but
But it's funny because you could tell, like, in Patricia's voice that she's really trying hard for Emmy not to think the world revolves around her. But it kind of does, because that was the thing I remember out of the video. It's like I can't help but give her attention.
like, okay, yeah, can you sing happy birthday now?
I mean, it is so funny, and it's like I laugh at it every day. It's like it's better than like a Chappelle skit. It's like I'm constantly rewinding it and watching
man, she's so funny. No,
and it's gonna be hard to keep her like ego down because she's funny. She's constantly just making me laugh.
I just remember her not agreeing to wear pants underneath her skirt, her dress.
It didn't go with the skirt.
Yeah, but it was cold, so it's like
It wasn't even
okay.
pants. It was like long john kind of.
Yeah, like leggings.
Leggings, yeah.
And she's like, no. She kept like pulling her skirt down to cover up the
Yeah,
leggings.
and then she tried to take them off, and we're in line for
mom's-
Dumbo.
Yeah, her mom's like, after the ride, you can take them off, but she kept like,
She's like, dude, I
squirming
cannot be
and-
out of style, Mom.
oh yeah.
Like you're really killing my game here, Mom. And Mia's so different.
Yeah,
That's what's
Mia's
so
just
funny.
whatever.
Same parents.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. He's just like, it's because you really think that like everything is the parent, and it's like no.
Yeah. They're,
So-
they're very different.
people just have their personalities,
Yeah.
and it's just
It's funny.
man. So
But you would think that she's the thrill seeker, but it's the opposite. Mia's the quiet one, but she's the thrill seeker.
yeah,
She likes the Space Mountain, Matterhorn,
yeah.
Thunder Mountain.
Mia likes to experience things. Emmy likes to be seen. That's the way it is. But my boy AJ went to the parks today and had a bad time.
He went with the 2 girls too.
Yeah, his daughters. Yeah. And the whole family,
The whole
his wife
family.
and daughters. And it's just kind of like, he said, every ride, well, I know he's exaggerating, but like almost every ride he went on broke down. And then like they rope drop and they only got on 5 rides today.
Wow. It's rides breaking down is okay because you can avoid it, but it's hard. It's like it sucks when it breaks down after you stood in line for like at least half an hour, and then just kidding, and then you have to turn around.
I'm pretty sure he got Genie Plus. I think he always does. And so even with Genie Plus, you're only on 5 rides. That's horrible. Because you could get on, if you rope drop, even on a busy summer day, you should be able to get on like 10 rides.
Today's a pretty busy day.
I know it's spring break, and I think I have a theory.
Before a holiday.
I have a theory that when they can speed up the rides a little bit and slow them down a little bit, and within safety measures, and I'm sure like a big manager has to come and approve that. But I think they probably do, and I think what happens is on busy times that they kind of, okay, we're going to ramp up the speed a little bit on these rides just so we can get more people on and off. I mean, and not all rides. Like there's certain rides like, Mickey's Runaway Railway that's synced, so you probably can't speed it up. But stuff like Space Mountain, Matterhorn, you could probably speed up and slow down. I don't know. That's a theory of mine. Cast
maybe
members,
by
correct me if
a second or two.
But that could be an extra 1,000 people that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's just like, I'm wondering if that was causing wear and tear because it is spring break. And so, yeah, I don't know.
It's not as like,
because
it
seems like rides do break down when it's more crowded. That's why I have that theory.
Oh, I see.
But I'm like, the crowds alone wouldn't break it down because it's still, you can only get if everything's operating at the same speed.
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't matter if it's crowded. There's still only so many rotations. If the ride's going to constantly run anyway, there's still only so many rotations it can do in a day unless you speed it up. That's why I have that theory. I know you think I'm mad, but I'm not mad, Tracy. It makes sense. It's the only thing that makes sense. Look at the numbers. No, I'm joking. So, hey, if there's any cast members who've operated rides, like let us know if I'm crazy or if that makes sense. Because every time it's busy, rides break down more. That doesn't make sense.
Or when it's really hot.
Well, that makes sense because, because materials expand in heat.
Oh.
And people, and then there's also more people carrying more stuff like water bottles, sunscreen. So just, if something drops off a ride,
the
ride will stop.
It'll stop.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. But big news.
Star Wars Celebration started today, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the big announcements were today.
Yes.
And
in the UK.
Usually I entertainment stuff, trailers, I typically put in dot points. And I usually talk about the business stuff in headlines, but man, this is some big stuff. I mean, for all you Star Wars fans out there. You non-Star Wars fans are going to be bored with the next 20 minutes because we're talking Star Wars,
it's still
baby.
Exciting.
I love me some Star Wars, man.
Yeah, I saw the Ahsoka trailer and I got goosebumps. And I don't get goosebumps.
So let's talk about the Ahsoka trailer. So, that's the show I was been looking forward to for the longest, and definitely my number one thing this year. We even got a special giveaway for that. I might even collab with Johnny on that one. I'm going to ask him. And then I didn't even think I said it was Ahsoka, but I'm so excited. It's Ahsoka.
Oh, yeah, you didn't say it was Ahsoka.
Yeah, it'll be
Ahsoka.
Yeah. So, so this morning, that was, even though we were working, we had to watch that trailer. And then we rewatched it a couple times.
It was so good. It's like
good.
Because, well, I guess to us or to me, it's good because I saw all these characters in animation version. Even though I didn't watch all of the Clone Wars, I watched the important ones that you said to watch, and especially the very last episode.
Right.
And so now I want to go back and watch that last episode again because it was all like Order 66 and all that stuff. And so like Sabine Wren, I know. Grand Admiral Thrawn, I know. Ezra.
Hera.
The girl. Hera?
Hera.
Okay,
Syndulla.
Hera, yeah.
Yeah. Twi'lek.
So, yeah, so Ahsoka, of course. But Ahsoka is like so good with her lightsaber.
Yep. Sabine
skills?
Wren. Yeah. And it's like we got these two new kind of dark side characters. We
Yeah,
don't know
that we're
who
like,
they
who are
are.
they? So, yeah.
And then they show Thrawn.
yeah.
And so if for deep cut people who are like really into Star Wars,
Mhm.
she called him the heir to the empire, which is
Yeah.
a series of novels that came out
Ooh.
that once Disney purchased it, all the EU, the extended universe, or not EU, expanded universe. I guess that's still E. All that stuff became legends, and it's not really canon.
So now
So
it
they're
is.
making now. I don't know if they're gonna do like step by step heir to the empire the same way it was in the novels, but Grand Admiral Thrawn was the main nemesis in that. And the cool thing about Grand Admiral Thrawn is that he's not a Force user. He's not he's not like a super powered alien. He's just a blue guy,
Just a blue guy.
but he's a genius. And so it took really good writing to make him menacing,
Oh.
because he's outsmarts like Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is like all these people with Force abilities. It doesn't matter. You have better ships. He'll beat you
Mm.
because he's just smart.
That's why he was able to disappear with Ezra.
Well, I mean, that wasn't his fault. That was Space Whales kidnapping them both. But
Oh.
and Ezra summoned them. But I mean, he's just smart, and he's even smarter than they showed in Rebels. And so it's kind of like it's gonna take some really good writing. I think Filoni can pull it off, though.
Mm-hmm. See, like if they had him, why didn't the sequels be about him instead of bringing back Palpatine? Why didn't the third secret bad guy be him instead of Palpatine's back? That's lame.
Because they had to explain Rey.
Oh,
That's why.
well, yeah, because Rey's not blue, so she can't be.
They had to explain where and why she's so powerful. And so I think with the sequels, what happened was basically they didn't have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
But again, and I think I explained this. I call it the Dana White theory, and it's with every business. You know how we kind of explained it with Chapek,
Mm-hmm.
where when businesses do things that they know are going to be unpopular or that could be unpopular,
Mm-hmm.
you have a front man and you pay them a lot of money to take all the hits,
Mm-hmm.
all the heat. And that's what Kathleen Kennedy is
Mm.
to Star Wars. Like, she gets all the heat. But the thing about it is every one of those sequel movies made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
And so people get mad at what they want. You think the board is unhappy? You think she still has a
Yeah.
job at Disney because
Well, like you
she
said.
didn't fulfill expectations?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like you said, The Mandalorian was under her leadership, so
Yeah.
you can't
People
really
just hate
pick
her.
and
And they
choose.
hate her. And I'm like, look, I'm not saying that there's some things that she does sometimes because I think it was her decision to like put those Mandalorian episodes into the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, anything bad they blame on her.
Well-
Don't blame it on the director.
Well, no. I mean, I'm saying not blame on her. I think it was actually her decision. She wanted to do that. But I mean, it's kind of like from a business standpoint, that makes sense. If Book of Boba Fett was like not going to get viewership, those were the best episodes of Book of
Yeah.
Boba Fett. The problem is it's short term because now the Mandalorian's numbers are down for the Mandalorian because all that stuff should have been in the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I think Dave Filoni was really upset.
But how does
Favreau was really upset.
But they would have had to put those episodes in ahead of time. How would they know ahead of time if it was going to be low viewership? Or did they last minute
No.
like-
I mean, I think it was her decision. It's kind of one of those things like
we don't
special.
think it'll
We know this is popular, so put that in the show because we don't know.
to
if
get
it's
views. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems weird. And
It's like put our number one guy and then just use him. you know?
yeah, and so
They
now
used to do that in Marvel Comics. When Wolverine became like super popular in the comics,
Mm-hmm.
they put him in every comic. All of a sudden, this like X-Man with claws became an Avenger. He became this. He became that. He's in the Fantastic Four comics because they'll use them to boost everything. That's
Right.
the way like marketing people think.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if we got something that's popular, put it in anything. People like cherry, I'll put it in everything. You know, it's yeah, it's the way it is. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, but again, she's a lightning rod. Fandom people who are deep nerds hate her on the internet. She has a job because she fulfills expectations.
Yeah.
And when I say expectations, I'm talking about expectations of the board of directors.
Yeah.
And the investors.
Yeah.
Because even when you can't knock her numbers. You can't knock her numbers. I mean, because and then the excuse is, well, with Star Wars, you know, she could have made even more than $1 billion for a movie. No, you can't. I mean, maybe, but nobody makes a movie. If you spend, let's say, one of those movies you cost $300 million to make, and you make $1 billion. You make $700 million profit.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Like you can't. I think everybody hopes to make $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe her expectation is higher than other people's. Like maybe like the board of directors was like, well, yeah, you know, we expect you to make at least like, you know, on your performance evaluation per year, like people who work for corporate jobs, the meets expectations level would be 750 million worldwide. That's like to keep your job.
Yeah.
And then, you know, but what we really want is like 900 million. And if she makes $1 billion, she exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
You know, and those expectations aren't based on what we think Star Wars is. It's like, what do movies do? There's only a handful of movies, even the old school movies adjusted for inflation, that made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
There's only a handful, you know, and she did it 3 times with movies that everyone hates. So that's even more impressive. And I don't actually hate
I
them,
think they hate.
but
They hate, but they have to see it because it's Star Wars.
yeah.
So
Board of directors and finance, they do not care if 300 million of that $1 billion was made by people who went and then pooped on the movie afterwards.
yeah, they don't care.
They don't care about it, you know. So I'm giving her some credit because I think she made some major tweaks with all these announcements that came out.
Mm.
Because I think she learned her lesson. Let Filoni and Favreau do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Give them some more responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, if the Ahsoka trailer is any indication of what's ahead, I'm hyped. I am super hyped. I don't, you know, the fans, they're not going to give her any credit for it.
Yeah.
But
They're going to give Filoni the credit.
But the bottom line is Filoni has to get a green light from her.
Right.
So she's still executive producer on all the cool stuff you like, whether you like it or not. I'm not trying to be a.
So she's like the Feige.
She's
Star
the
Wars.
Feige of Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say that I'm not, trying to blow her up. Like, I'm a big fan, but I'm saying, you know, you got to take the good with the bad.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, the Ahsoka trailer, I encourage everyone to go and watch it. And that was just the first thing. What do we have after that?
Second thing is Acolytes.
The Acolyte.
Acolytes.
Yeah. So this was kind of disappointing. Not disappointing. Disappointing for me personally, and disappointing for everyone who wasn't at Star Wars Celebration, because the trailer they leaked was only shown there. Kind of like how, there's like exclusive, so it's not on the internet.
But it'll probably come out like after the weekend, after the
maybe
Star
some
Wars Celebration is
bootleg,
over.
something of somebody who's shown it. I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully. But I heard it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's right. When Quantum Mania
Yeah.
trailer at Comic-Con came, we didn't see it till like a month later.
Yeah. But it's not going to be out this year anyway. So, but it's pretty cool. And I think that's why they don't want a lot of people to see it, because there's probably still going to be a lot of tweaks made to it. Even the Ahsoka trailer, when she starts, she squares off against the one dark.
The older dude?
Yeah. With the lightsaber battle. There was some LED lights you could see in the background.
Really?
They're not finished editing.
Oh, now I have to go watch it.
Yeah. Like stage lights, like, you'd see like in a high school theater, like the not LED, but the stage, the big heat lamp.
Well,
lights.
Marvel goes out of their way to make fake scenes for trailers.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised Star Wars doesn't do that.
It's so funny. Yeah.
Or Lucas. So what are Acolyte?
So the Acolyte, we've talked about it before, and it is another Disney Plus Star Wars show that's coming out, I believe, next year. I think they announced 2024.
2024.
And it is about acolytes are kind of like Padawans for Sith. So you know how like the Jedi have, Padawans and then they have apprentices. I guess they would probably be more apprentices because they're older typically. Sith never really had like a lot of little kids running around, so I think they kind of take at least teenagers. Because usually most Sith are Jedis that fell to the dark side, or people who got passed over. And I think this is what this story does: people who are Force sensitive, but the Jedi didn't take, and got mad about it.
I thought the Jedi took everyone.
No.
I mean, you may not be like a
Jedi are actually, and this is what's kind of cool. People think Jedi are always the good guys. Jedi aren't really good.
Well, I know they're lame.
Well, I mean beyond just personal opinion, I think they're not intended to be like super good.
Yeah.
They're intended to be better than
noble.
Yeah. Well,
they had all the schools with all the younglings, so I thought they just take on everyone.
No, they take on most.
Well,
and it depends on the era.
And I know, like for Anakin in the prequels, that the Jedi Council didn't want to take him in.
They didn't even want to. Luke Skywalker. There was no Jedis left, and Yoda still didn't want to train Luke.
Oh yeah,
because he was too old. And I was like, dude, you guys are under an empire. Your galaxy's ruled by a Sith Lord. Like, take what you could get. Like, beggars can't be choosers, you little green snot.
And then Luke, that's the part that is like, okay, now I really hate Jedi. When Luke made Grogu choose, you either choose to be a Jedi or you choose to go to the Mandalorian. You can't be both. It's like, hey, that poor kid, he's gone through enough. He's been through enough. We'll make him choose. But anyways.
Yeah, I mean, they're weird.
Yeah.
They're weird. But they're
They're weird.
you have to understand, they're a religion.
Yes.
And so in the real world, if you have issues with any religion, why wouldn't you have issues with a Jedi? And you can't have perfect heroes.
Yeah.
So, and what's cool about the Acolyte from what the showrunner said, Leslie Headland, she basically said, well, the funny thing she said, it's like Kill Bill meets Frozen, which I don't.
Kill Bill meets Frozen. Interesting.
But it is ridiculous as that sounds. It sounds cool because a lot of people look at Frozen as just kind of like this Disney fantasy. But what was Frozen really about? It was about
the sister who couldn't control her powers.
A relationship. Exactly.
So
exactly.
So like the Sith apprentice.
The Sith are the stars of the show.
Can't control their powers.
Or she finds out they have powers, but she's persecuted for them, and which brings out the. You remember, Elsa almost went to the dark side halfway through the movie.
Yeah, she was totally dark up until the end. Like,
she
killed her sister and everything. Nearly killed her sister.
Almost froze her entire country. Well, she did freeze the entire country.
She froze her country, ran away.
Yeah.
Her sister found her, froze her sister's heart. Her sister almost died.
Yeah.
And then something
almost killed her twice. Hit her in the head first time. Hit her in the heart the second time.
Yeah.
Then kissed her alive.
Yeah.
So if you do that with the action of like just saber fighting, because this is supposed to be, and I'll get into the new timeline that they put together, but what they call the High Republic. So this is right before the prequels, and it is when the Jedi are the most arrogant because they believe the Sith are gone, and they're just walking around, and they're just like, we're the best. They're like, it's like King Arthur times for the Jedi, and you think the Jedi are arrogant in the prequels. That's even more arrogant. They're wearing like shiny gold stuff, even walking around poor. It's a real.
No wonder they call them knights.
So so what she said, and before I went off on the whole Frozen rant, is that this series is basically the bad guys are the underdogs. So you're going to be rooting for the Sith in this one because it's about them. because the Jedi are the mob. The Jedi
Yeah.
are the Empire.
Yeah.
And in this one, so I'm really looking forward to the Acolyte.
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. That's with Jude Law. You know, he does our Taste Talk intro.
Took a break from that to do a show.
Yeah. So yeah, he's basically. It's about kind of like, and this also takes place during kind of the Mandalorian timeline era, but they're like lost in space. So like I think he's plays a Jedi, but it's with him with a group of like young kids, and they're lost in the unknown regions. So we don't know a whole lot about it, but it's
It just
it
sounds
sounds
like Bad
interesting.
Batch. So it's like a Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch.
yeah, I know. So.
Ooh, Andor season 2.
Yeah, so I think they already wrapped up production or almost finished production on it, and then they said they need a year of post production, so that's going to be in 2024. That's next year, and hopefully that's the last season because I would like to see the first season, and then the next season should be ramping up to Rogue One, and then if you want to see what happens, you watch Rogue One. That's the way it should be. They shouldn't just try to. Keep putting out stuff just because they can. You have so much. You still have a whole galaxy to explore. So that's the way it should be, and it should be the way to where we can watch Andor season 1, Andor season 2, and Rogue One, and that's a complete set.
Yep.
And then everyone's happy.
But Mon Mothma, how do you say her name? Mon Mothma showed up in the Ahsoka trailer.
Yeah, because she's still alive.
Mon Mothma from Andor. But if you didn't watch Andor, you wouldn't know who she is.
No, Mon Mothma is in the very first Star Wars.
Oh, but the same actress from Andor is in there. The same lady.
A lot of nerds just threw their biscuits at you. Like, she was in the very first Star Wars. Tracy.
I know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, she's in Rogue One too.
Oh yeah, but different lady, right?
There's different actresses. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. She survived the rebellion. So the question is, does she, because even during the sequel, she would have still been alive. She'd have just been old.
Yeah, but they didn't show her, did they?
So I'm just wondering if maybe they show how she dies. Because that hasn't been mentioned. Or if she's died. So yeah. So so there's that. But the big news is the 3 new Star Wars movies.
Yes.
So that's kind of the headline, and that's we could have started with that, but I kind of wanted to save it.
Yeah.
So the first movie, I think it's not the official title yet, but they're calling it Dawn of the Jedi. And this is going, and we'll get into like the timeline, the new timeline that they made, but the first wielder of the Force in the galaxy. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting because that could come with a whole lot of lore that's not even in the books. That much.
It's like a long time ago.
Yeah, long time.
Pre-Ahsoka, because she kind of when she was because remember Tales of the Jedi when she was a baby, she already showed Force.
Dude, this is so long before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No,
before Ahsoka was a baby, even way before that.
We're talking like 10,000 years before Ahsoka.
Oh, okay.
Before Yoda was a baby.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Yoda's like thousands of years old.
Well, he died at like 900 something. But yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you through the timeline so you'll even have a better understanding of how far before I go with that.
So another biscuit at me.
Yeah. Throw your nerve biscuits at Tracy. How dare you? Johnny's just shaking his head right now. Like, he's getting mad.
No, he's not getting mad because we're not talking about the sequels.
You and Kathleen Kennedy are on his little desk.
I'm not talking about the sequels. This is like
okay, so that's the first movie that did. The second movie is starring this is the one Johnny's mad at. It's going to be about it's going to be Rey. It's going to be about Rey and
15 years after Rise
of Skywalker. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's
But then her
starting
name's Rey Skywalker now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But here's the thing. like if you already had a car accident, like what are the chances of you having a second one? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna
it's gonna be good.
make it up,
Yeah.
like make up for the mess of the sequels.
And the sequels weren't terrible. They just didn't live up to Star Wars fans' expectations. That's what it
No,
was.
but Ray is like even Captain Marvel. That's what I was saying. Even Captain Marvel had some type of struggle. Ray didn't have any struggles. She just like got up and started sword fighting.
Well, from a power standpoint, she didn't really have any struggles, but she didn't have parents either. Just Captain Marvel, like, you know, she was kind of cool until got kidnapped by the Kree. So that's what it's about, you know. And by the way, all the haters are going to go see it.
Of course, you have to.
They're going to talk trash. They're
have
going to
to.
shake their head, and they're going to see it. Not only are they going to go see it, they're going to see it opening night so they can complain the same day. But I bet you it's going to be good.
No, it might be like I said. Yeah, it might be redeemable. It's
Yeah.
redeeming.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the big movie that everyone is gonna got excited about and everyone's gonna be waiting for is a movie by Filoni, and that's in the Mandoverse. And so what is speculated is this is going to be the Star Wars Avengers. So
And it's supposed to wrap up the Mandalorian series too.
all the Mandalorian timeline.
Okay.
So like Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Boba Fett,
Oh.
Skeleton Crew, which is in that timeline. Like everything that's in that timeline is like they're all that movie's going to be the culmination. It's going to be,
Oh.
you know, the Mandalorian Endgame, basically. So that is going to be crazy.
Maybe when they finally kill Thrawn or something.
Yeah, I think that's why. And so it's in some ways that's disappointing in the sense that Ahsoka is probably not going to wrap up the Thrawn
Oh yeah.
series because he needs to survive in order to, you know, have the Avengers of Star Wars come after him. You know,
The end game of Star Wars.
Yeah. But they did come out with a new timeline,
Okay.
and so I'll go through it real quick. So the Dawn of the Jedi, that's what they're calling the first era.
Oh, okay. So that's when they show that Jedi wielding first
Yeah.
force.
So even though that's the title of that movie,
Yeah.
that's probably not the official title,
Right.
but that's the new era.
Okay.
And then, and in the books they have all this stuff, but there's crazy stuff like the Rakatan Empire was like these aliens that they were actually the first people to have the Force,
Mm.
but they were these aliens and they were just dark. And the Rakatan Empire, it was never mentioned in canon. And the funny thing is the least pew pew Force power show is the only show that mentioned them. Andor.
Mention who?
The Rakatan Empire.
Oh, interesting.
Because that's where what's his name had the crystal that he gave him. He said this was Rakatan.
Oh, Skarsgård gave him that crystal.
It's from the Rakatan. So that, I mean, if they're going by like old school, like expanded universe, like that's like 50,000 years old.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. So, but I don't know if they're going to shorten the timeline now as far as the years. But that's how long ago. So when you talk about the first person who wielded the Force, when you talk about Ahsoka's new.
Yeah, yeah.
she's like
Yeah.
she's still a lot, you know. So yeah. So then the second is the Old Republic, and the Old Republic is what all us Star Wars nerds were hoping for to begin with before they announced the High Republic and all
Mhm.
that. The Old Republic is comes from the video games that, you know, Knights of the Old Republic.
Mhm.
There's an online game called Knights of the Old Republic, and that's when you talk about Darth Revan. It's the old empire. I mean, it was there's books written on it, and it was just a great era. And we were hoping that that's where they were going to go next. You know, early on, you know, but they haven't really touched on it too much. So, but because it's in there, at least it's official canon now.
Mm.
That era is definitely there, and that's the Republic was kind of like the Republic we have now, and it was just as incompetent. So, and then there's the High Republic. So I don't know where they're going to fit Darth Bane in. I don't know if he's going to come in at the end of the Old Republic. He's probably going to be end of the Old Republic,
Mhm.
because Darth Bane, and everybody needs to go read. And I always said that's the movie trilogy that they need to make. I would probably prefer it on as a show, like as a miniseries.
Mhm.
But however they want to do it, because he's the one that created the rule of two,
Mm.
and that's why the Sith ended up taking over with Palpatine. Palpatine was basically what he wanted to see the Sith become. One person that could rule the galaxy.
Mm.
Because the Sith, there used to be thousands of Sith. And that's what people don't realize. Back in the day, the Sith were all over the place and they would always get whooped. and then they would kill each other.
Mm.
You know? It's kind of the same problem that like Bo-Katan was talking about with the Mandalorians. Because the Mandalorians, their biggest weakness was that they would fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing with the Sith. Because if you have people who are just only out for their own passions and just ambitious, like they're not going to make a good team.
United.
Yeah, you can't win if you're not united.
Mm-hmm.
So even when the Sith got the most powerful, they'd just fall and sabotage themselves.
Yep.
It wasn't that the Jedi was so great. It was just that the Sith would trip over their own feet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so he said, you know what? Enough of this. He killed all the Sith of his order. He said, enough. Darth Bane is my favorite. I have his bust on my mantle, my little thing.
Do you have the book?
Yeah.
I need to read it.
Yeah. I have the digital, the audio.
Oh, yeah, I want the digital.
I have even the old school paper versions, hardback. So that's the Old Republic, and then in the High Republic is where the Acolyte takes place. And that's why the Jedi is so cool, because once Bane, they made, like they say the greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing everyone he doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Sith did.
Mm.
And that's why everybody, like the Jedi, all their holocrons and books, know that the Sith existed, but they're extinct.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the prequels, Mace Windu, the Sith are extinct. Like, no,
Yeah.
they're not. It's just that they outsmarted you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why they're probably so cocky during the High Republic era.
The Jedi are, yeah.
Yeah, this is
You can even see
that's
it
the
in
highest
prequels.
the Jedi has ever risen, is the High Republic supposedly. And then after that, number 4 is the Fall of the Jedi, and that's the prequels.
So does it do like what happens shortly after the prequels? Kind of.
What do you mean? Don't
The
get another
timeline?
biscuit. You're gathering
No,
biscuits.
the timeline. You said that's the prequels.
No, I said after the High Republic is the Fall of the Jedi, and that is the prequels.
Oh.
Mhm.
These are not timelines like Marvel timelines, Phase 4 or Phase 5.
No. These are the timeline of the Star Wars history.
Oh, I thought they were timeline of movies and stuff, like Marvel.
Well, but that's where they're placed different movies. So if they say, hey, this is during the High Republic era, you'll know who's around during that era. This movie takes place during the High Republic era. If they say this movie
Fall of
takes
the
place
Jedi,
during
it's the
it's
prequels.
right?
Yeah.
Or this show takes
Episodes
place
1 through 3 or whatever.
No, yeah, 1 through
Yes.
3, 1 through 3, right.
See,
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. I was about to, okay, I'll eat that biscuit. 5 is Reign of the Empire. So that is basically like, I guess like kind of like Bad Batch Andor.
Yeah.
Bad Batch up to Andor. Kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Before the rebellion.
Before
Yeah. And then
Age of the Rebellion.
and then Age of the Rebellion is the original trilogy.
Oh,
Yeah. And that's 6. And then the New Republic, that's the Mandoverse.
right. It's after the fall of the Empire.
Yeah. 8 is Rise of the First Order. That's the sequels.
Mm-hmm.
And then 9 is the New Jedi Order, and that's going to be the new one with Rey.
Which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. We haven't
We
seen
don't know what
anything.
happened yet.
We don't
So
know yet.
kind of know what's. I guess they need to make more movies of what happens between Age of the Rebellion and the New Republic. Kind of. I guess you have the Mandoverse to explain the New Republic, because we don't really have many things after.
I think they're filling it up with shows.
Yeah, they're
So-
filling it up with the Mandoverse
So
stuff,
Andor-
the Filoni stuff. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and Andor.
Andor, Rebels, Star Wars Rebels is
I see.
is like the Age of the Rebellion, but it's like starts and then they become a rebellion. So at the end of Rebels is when they actually start calling themselves rebels, really. When
No,
they get
I'm
united.
saying like there's after the fall of the Empire,
You mean the fall of the Empire?
Yeah, so the New Republic is probably
Is
where
the
they're filling it
Mandoverse.
up with shows. Because
Yeah.
before that, we just saw Luke Skywalker blow up the Death Star, and then nothing happens for 40 years, and then Rey shows up.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
now there's like number 7, New
Yeah.
Republic.
That's why it was a good era to start the Mandalorian
Yeah,
in all those stories because they need to fill up that 30-year gap.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Correct. So
with Ahsoka and stuff like that too.
and they could put a lot of stuff in there because everyone's like, how do we get to the First Order? Like 30 years is a long time.
Yeah,
You know.
like
So,
dude, rebellions, you've been fighting for that long.
yeah. So that's cool. So that's pretty much it. I'm really hyped. I'm excited because the whole thing with the sequels, and I said they didn't have a plan.
hmm
They actually have a timeline now
Yeah,
to where to work from. That's
Yeah.
what they should have done. They should have had this
before
like
yeah.
as soon as they bought from Lucas, from George Lucas. When
Yeah.
they bought Star Wars from George Lucas, okay, what's the timeline? What's the schematics? Let's build from this. This is going to be our
Yeah.
structure.
They should have had more fillers before they had the sequels. Like I said, there was 30 years of blank, and all of a sudden, Rey and Han
Well,
Solo, old Han Solo,
And I
shows
know
up.
why, because it's the same thing that we said about putting the Mando and everything, putting Wolverine and everything. They wanted to use
The Skywalker and everything.
Skywalker was popular. They wanted to lose like Mark Hamill and all the characters, Han Solo, Leia. They wanted to use them while they're still alive.
Mm.
And so you can't wait another 10 years.
Yeah.
We already lost Leia.
Well, I know,
So it was a marketing decision. And so it's kind of like they were like, dude, we can't be doing anything until we squeeze as much juice out of the original trilogy as we can.
then start it
And they thought that would kick off a
Earlier.
whole new thing.
instead of start it
But
like
the
10
actors are
years
old.
out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they can do the CGI
that
thing,
was
right?
kind of new.
Or no?
It was kind of
Oh yeah.
know,
Back then it was new.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they did it. And this answers a lot of the questions that I have because I was just like, man, they could just switch like Galaxy's Edge and all these, stuff, Star Cruiser Hotel, Galactic Star
Mhm.
Cruiser. Just change it back to the Mandoverse or even the original trilogy. Like they're losing money on these things,
Yeah.
And this is why it's because they still have plans for the Rayverse.
The reverse.
Raycons. All right. But honestly, with all this news, I'm excited and I look forward to it. But we'll be talking about this for the years. So,
Yeah.
all right.
It's Taste Talk with Tracy. Mash some magic in your mouth.
Okay. I don't know how to say this. Spicy shrimp.
Cameron.
Cameron a la Diabla.
Mhm.
Spicy shrimp. with-
Devil shrimp. That's what it means.
Yeah, because it's
Mhm.
so hot and spicy.
Diablos, devil,
Yeah.
Cameron shrimp.
It's really spicy. It comes with California chili and cilantro rice. And it was at the Caliente booth, of course, and to me it was really spicy. And you have a high spicy tolerance.
Yeah.
So you even thought it was
It
spicy.
was spicy. But if it's going to be at the Caliente booth, it better be spicy.
Yeah, it's true.
So it lived up to what it promised.
Yeah.
So
So this is the seafood.
I think
item.
it was good, but if you don't like spice, don't get it.
Yeah.
If you like spicy, definitely get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to like down a bunch of water after each bite. So, but I thought it was okay. Yeah, and it's worth the tab because it's like shrimp,
Mhm.
right? So it's like
Yeah.
$13 or something
Yeah.
without the tab.
Yeah, it was, I definitely thumbs up, but beware.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beware.
beware, 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 beware.
The new Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny trailer came out today, or was
Yeah,
it
was
yesterday?
a Star Wars Celebration,
Oh.
and I just didn't attach it because it's not Star Wars. But
Yeah, and I missed it because I was excited
it's-
with the Ahsoka trailer. I
but it
didn't even
came out
watch
because it's still a Lucasfilms movie. It's just not part. Lucasfilms has more
Ew.
stuff under it than Like Willow is Lucasfilms too.
Yeah.
So they have Lucasfilm isn't just Star Wars,
Right.
but came out Star Wars Celebration, but it's on YouTube now, and it's actually a pretty interesting trailer. They show young Indy, old Indy.
Oh,
he's
I
about
need
to
to go watch it.
retire. Yeah, so yeah, it looks pretty cool. I mean, I'll definitely go see it. You know, I'm
I'll
an
have
indie
to
fan.
Catch up to the newer indie movies I skipped. I
think-
saw the really old ones, and then you know how they made some new ones
They
in
made
the
only
early
two.
2000s or
They
something.
made I think they made
One-
one.
No, there was the Sean Connery one that
Oh,
I
you didn't
missed.
see that
no.
one? Okay, so you missed
And
it.
the Chris Pine one or something.
It wasn't Chris Pine. It was Shia LaBeouf.
Oh,
Yeah.
why did I say Chris Pine?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. And then also what happened this week was Genie Plus was at a record high at $35 at Disney World. It's never been more than $30 at Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
But it also sold out for 4 days in a row. I don't know if it's sold out today, but it was sold out Monday through Thursday.
That's crazy.
Yeah, $35.
I know.
So spring break is here.
Yeah.
So that's like,
And
yeah,
then
a
after
lot
spring
of.
break is Tracy's favorite time of year, grad night.
Oh, yeah. Also, the big news is that Disney World annual passes are finally resuming sales on April 20th. It hasn't been available since November 2021. Like after the pandemic, I think it went on sale from September to November, like for only a few months, and then it stopped selling for like over a year now, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. So finally, it's back on sale. The 4 types: Incredipass is the top one. The Sorcerer's Pass, which is only for Florida residents and DVC. Pirate Pass, which is kind of like the Enchant Key here.
Pirate Pass.
And then the Pixie Dust Pass, which is like the SoCal one, because this is for Florida residents only.
Mm.
So people are excited.
Yeah.
And then other like small news is lawmakers meet with Disney CEO Bob Iger about China censorship. I think Disney's going to try to, I think it's about like Disney trying not to censor a lot of their movies anymore just for the purposes of, because China told them to. Iger saying we're going to do less of that. And they have been with the whole Lightyear thing. They didn't take out that scene.
Yeah.
And they know in the past, I think he was saying that the whole thing with Mulan being filmed at
Yeah.
that area. So he's like, that was a kind of, he wants to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are worried about China's soft power in the world.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
their Belt and Road Initiative. And if people don't know what that is, just in a nutshell, they're developing a lot of developing countries. Like they're giving a lot of money to them.
Yeah.
Like countries who can't get loans from other countries. Like, you know, the U.S. is like, man, you guys are broke and we're not going to lend you any money.
Yeah.
You know, China says, we'll help you with your infrastructure, but then they're loyal to China.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the problem is that a lot of these countries are defaulting.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, you know, China's having to restructure the loans or write off a lot of debt. So, but there's this, since everybody has nuclear weapons, the war is really over soft power now. Who's the coolest? Who's going to be using whose currency?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we don't want, well, when I say we, I'm talking about the United States government, doesn't want companies like Disney, who are big creators of soft power, because soft power is basically culture. Whose culture is the world going to follow?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want Disney to bend American culture to
China. Yeah.
And that's what
And
it's
that's what
about.
Iger was saying, kind of like, you know, in countries where they operate, they want to share their stories in its original format, and they're going to try as much as possible not to make edits like they did before, which is
Right.
why in Lightyear and stuff they stopped doing that.
So let's see
Okay.
what happens.
And then Disney appoints Asad Ayez, which will be the first ever chief brand officer, reporting directly to Bob Iger. So his position is develop and execute holistic brand marketing campaigns, leveraging and synthesizing the company's full suite of content and consumer experiences. Activate the brand internally and externally through partnerships and provide guidance and alignment for the company's digital and social media strategy and presence. His current role is president of marketing for Walt Disney Studios. So he's going to continue that role, and as
Yeah.
the chief brand officer.
So apparently Iger thinks he's doing a good job.
Yep.
Promoted him to push that throughout the entire enterprise. So
Yep.
Yeah. And you want consistent marketing. So he's not only doing a good job, I think it's Iger saying, like, we want everything consistent. So
Yeah.
everything has a consistent message, everything has a consistent vision. Smart move in my opinion.
Yeah, so it's not disjointed
Yeah.
like the sequels.
Exactly. Exactly. You see, now they're taking biscuits away from you. They're like, oh, she gets
See?
it.
I
She
get
gets
it.
it. Yeah. All right. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. You guys have a happy weekend. And
Happy
I'm Brian.
Easter. I'm Tracy.
Oh, yeah. Happy Easter.
Yeah.
Stay magical.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe and visit us at www.ropedroppingknowledge.com.